The Edmonton Eskimos fully admit they were not at their best last against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but it's very early in the 2018 CFL season. Every game in a football season is important, and the Eskimos will have the chance to avenge last week's loss against a Western Division opponent as they face the BC Lions Friday night on the brick field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Eskimos were the lesser team in all three phases of the game last Friday in a 38-21 loss to the Tiger Cats, which was the second most lopsided loss at Commonwealth in the last 24 games dating back to the 2015 season. The Eskimos dropped to 1-1 on the season. The defense surrendered 528 yards of offense, giving up 332 passing yards and 196 rushing yards. The Eskimos on offense were on the field for 24-14 and produced 328 yards of total offense with 286 passing yards and only 62 rushing yards. Redmore, Missouri leads tickets to dominating win over Eskimos. Receivers Darrell Walker and Duke Williams scored touchdowns in the loss, and both are first and second in CFL receiving after 2 weeks, combining for 411 yards and 3 touchdowns. Williams said the offense is starting to settle down and feel more comfortable for everybody after the first 2 weeks of the season. You know, it's early in the season and we are still coming together as a team, and once we come together as a team, we are going to be hitting on all cylinders. Williams said, "We follow Mike Riley's lead and, in our receiving group, Vidal, Hazelton, Kenny, Stafford, and Darrell Walker's lead. Whatever they tell us to do or need us to do, we apply that to our game." The Eskimos have no injuries to deal with from last week for the game on Friday. The only roster move is newcomer Sam Giguère will be added to the 46-man roster and is expected to play. Fullback Pascal Lockhart will come out of the lineup. Redmore, Eskimos not happy with lopsided loss but looking forward to next opportunity. The Eskimos will be flipping the ratio in both their secondary and receiving core. American Maurice McKnight will replace Canadian Jordan Hoover at the wide side corner spot, while receiver Nate Behar will receive his first CFL start, giving the Eskimos 2 starting Canadian receivers. Listen below. Eskimos head coach Jason Maas discusses flipping the ratio in his secondary and receiving core for Friday's game against the Lions. View link. The following is the projected offensive and defensive starters for the Eskimos. Offensive quarterback, Mike Riley. Running back, CJ Gable. Fullback, Calvin McCarty. Offensive line, Matt O'Donnell, Travis Bond, Justin Sorensen, David Beard, Colin Kelly. Receivers, Darrell Walker, Duke Williams, Nadia Jane, Nate Behar, Kenny Stafford. Defensive line, Kwaku Boateng, Elmondo Sewell, Jake Ceresna, Alex Bazzi. Linebackers, Christophe Malumba, Shamong J.C. Sherritt, Chris Edwards. Defensive backs, Nick Taylor, Aaron Grimes, Neil King, Money Hunter, Maurice McKnight. Defensive end, Odell Willis played 5 seasons with the Edmonton Eskimos from 2013 to 2017. He played 86 games in green and gold, recording 132 defensive tackles, 46 quarterback sacks, 10 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 interceptions with 1 returned for a touchdown. Willis was named a CFL and Western Division All-Star in 2014 and helped the Eskimos win a Grey Cup championship in 2015. He was traded by the Eskimos to the Ottawa Red Blacks on Feb. 2 for defensive tackle Jake Ceresna. The Red Blacks then flipped Willis to the BC Lions. According to Willis, even though the first game back in Edmonton since the trade is special, it didn't change the way he prepared for this week's game. "I've just been really excited because I'm really ready to play with my guys." Willis said, "I'm really ready to chase Mike Riley. Like I said, it's a little extra excitement, but the preparations have always been the same. I prep like it's Grey Cup. I mean, if I waited this week to turn up my preparations, that means I'm not preparing other weeks like I'm supposed to." Willis joins offensive lineman Joel Figueroa, receiver Corey Watson, defensive backs Gary Peters and Marcel Young, along with linebacker Otha Foster, offensive coordinator Jarius Jackson, and general manager Ed Hervé, as former members of the Eskimos currently playing for or associated with the Lions. The team is coming off a bye week after a 22-10 win in Week 1 against the Montreal Alouettes at BC Place Stadium to give the Lions a 1-0 start on the season. You can hear live coverage of Friday night's game between the Eskimos and Lions on 630 CHED, starting with countdown to kickoff at 6 p.m. The opening kickoff on the brick field at Commonwealth Stadium is 8 p.m. with Morley Scott and Dave Campbell calling all the live action, plus analyses from former Eskimos offensive lineman and two-time Grey Cup champion Blake Dermott along with Brendan Ulrich reporting from the Eskimos sidelines. Copyright 2018 Global News, a division of Chorus Entertainment Inc.